In June of 2021, I purchased my first home. I fell in love with the potential and the possibilities, and I knew this would be a game changer for my YouTube channel, my creativity, my life. But I had no idea how much this renovation would take out of me and give back to me, and the lessons it would teach me. Now, 5 years later, we're still working. Hey everyone, welcome back to Reissued. If you're new here, my name is Andrew. Today we're doing some kind of manual projects in the conservatory. It's given me a lot of time to think and reflect on the last 5 years of home renovation. Can you believe it's been 5 years? It's flown by for me. I don't know about you. So today we're gonna be finishing off the wood inlay tables that we started last month. We're also gonna be tearing down a wall. Said very casually. I've been wanting to do this project for so long, and we're finally gonna kick that off today, so I can't wait to show you that. And as we go, I wanna share 25 lessons that I've learned in the last 5 years of home renovation. These are things that I would have told myself at the beginning of my home renovation, that I'm still telling myself, and that might be helpful to you in whatever stage you are at in your home makeover journey, or just your life journey in general. So settle in, maybe grab a beverage, and let's get reflective. Chapter 1, on making. Lesson 1, starting is the hardest part always. Starting a new project, starting a new day on an ongoing project. Please, just fucking start. It won't get easier if you wait. Okay, today's mission, tearing down a wall, kind of. If you've seen any one of my many house tour videos, you have heard me talk about this project. In the wall between this room, the conservatory, and that room, the entry, there's a big tall wall here, and the goal here is to essentially keep the structure of the wall, but to install these beautiful vintage windows so it becomes this gorgeous glass wall of windows that's gonna make this room feel like kind of an indoor greenhouse kind of moment. I think that's gonna be a really nice focal point when you walk in the house. It's gonna make both of these spaces kind of make more sense. However, I am getting a professional consultation on this because this is a load-bearing wall. So I want to make sure that we're doing all the right things to make this structural, but I got the approval to remove the siding on this side and all of the plaster on the other side to strip this down. So we're going to start working on that today. Number 2, fear will be your biggest motivator. Or demotivator, really. Fear is the reason you can't get started. Fear is the little voice that makes you second guess everything. Everything. So start, because it's hard to be afraid when you're in motion, and multitasking is a lie. But also, learn to let curiosity be your motivator. What would the ceiling look like higher? What would the fireplace look like stripped to natural wood? How would this wall look if it were just windows? Curiosity is way more fun than fear. Number 3, the right tools for a project can make all the difference. Get the mini pry bar set right away. You're gonna be pulling down and putting up a lot of trim and stuff, and it'll make your life so much easier. Lesson 4, sometimes the simplest solution is the best, and sometimes the most complicated solution is totally badass, and it would be a shame not to bring that potential to life. It's impossible to know which is which until you do it. Okay, stepping away from that for a moment, let me get you up to speed on what's happening with the tables in the conservatory. You may remember last month I ironed a bunch of wood veneer on the top of these tables to give them a wood inlay effect. They look great. Unfortunately for that video, I didn't have time to put a finish on them. So right after that video went live, I started going in with polyurethane on these. Everything takes longer than you expect. Everything. Number 6, if you feel like you're pushing way too hard to make something happen, it probably isn't meant to happen. But if you're hitting a wall, push a little harder before you quit. So many times the screw will come out with one more big push. The YouTube channel will pick up with just one more good video. Things feel impossible just before they feel unstoppable. Number 7, sanding is almost always the right move, no matter how much you hate it. So welcome back to the present. I didn't record every single layer that went on these because there are 9 coats of polyurethane on this. But I think that we're pretty much gonna call it good at this point. We gotta know when to stop. So now I'm gonna go in with a spray version of the polyurethane to try to give these the most even finish to finish off with, because I don't really wanna sand these ever again. Ever again. Number 8, you are capable of so much more than you know, but maybe don't start with the hardest thing. Practice some reupholstery before you decide to build a chair from scratch. Learn to make a straight cut before you build a wall. You might not get the luxury of incremental learning, but the confidence that comes with knowing you can do it because you've done something a little bit easier before goes a long way. Chapter 2, on working with others. Lesson 9, ask for help sometimes. The DIY world places a lot of glamour and power on doing it yourself. I mean, it's in the name. But some projects are bigger than you, and outside eyes and hands are the only way it will be possible. And you don't know everything. Number 10, don't ask for help sometimes. Watching and learning is a lie, and the only way to learn for real is to do it yourself without someone else to fall back on. You will be afraid, remember? But you'll do it. Curiosity, remember? What would happen if I did it myself? 11. Being agreeable and accommodating is not the same as being helpful. Being clear about what you want and how you feel and where you stand is so much more constructive and efficient. But being unkind is not the same as being truthful. Number 12. Finding the best solution is more important than being right. And compromise often looks a lot less like smushing two alternate ideas together and more like going back to the drawing board with an open mind and seeing what can happen. Now, before we continue on with the very deep life lessons, I have very exciting news. We are launching reissued embroidered patches. They are now available on my website, which is so exciting. Some of y'all have been asking for some kind of reissued merch options for a while, and we were toying around with the right way to do this because, you know, thrifting and repurposing and buying things secondhand is my thing. So it felt a little bit weird to sell like a new shirt with a logo on it. I don't know, it just didn't feel like it really tracked with my brand and with the mission of what we do here on the channel. So we opted instead to do these little iron-on embroidered patches like you can see here on my shirt today. Each pack is gonna come in a set of 3 colorways. We have the red, the blue, and the black. I wanted the colors and the design of the patches to have kind of a vintage workwear kind of look, and so this just feels so on brand for me, literally. And what I love about these is if you love my channel and you wanna rep a little reissued merch moment, you can do that with any shirt you already have on hand, something you find at the thrift store. No need to produce a new clothing item for this, just pop it on whatever you have. For me personally, I really like it on this little workwear shirt. I also popped one on a hat as well. I think that looks really cool. And then I had this striped shirt. You may remember the clothing flips video a couple months back. I talked about that I had a stain on the shirt. And so I ironed on a patch to cover it up. So now I can wear that shirt again. It's looking great. If you're interested in checking out the 3-pack of embroidered reissued patches, I'm gonna link them down in the description box below. It's $15 for the set of 3. We do ship internationally, so my friends all over the world can get them as well. I'm so excited to launch these, and I really hope that you like them. Chapter 3, on design. Number 13. Murky, desaturated in-between colors feel so much more mysterious and expensive than bright saturated ones. That's something that you'll get right from the beginning. Number 14. Building a space that looks collected and curated over time takes, well, time. If that feels disheartening at the beginning, just know that this is an instance where things will continue to get better and better. Not everything works that way. 15. Letting go of ideas when they don't work or when plans change is something that you gotta learn. Allow yourself to grieve them gently because they felt like the future for a while, but push yourself to move on because you might just be having a hard time admitting you were wrong. 16. Your style can and will grow and change. You will love some things for a while and then you'll love them less. But some things will keep hanging around in your house and in your head and you can't stop loving them. That's your style. You will grow and change. You will try on different lives and perspectives and see how they feel. But the things that keep hanging around, that's you. Okay, back to the tables. For the table bases on these, you may remember I got these on Facebook Marketplace. The guy that sold them to me said that he literally got them out of someone's like backyard. Maybe it was his backyard, but they were just like buried somewhere. And I have not cleaned these. I have done nothing to these. So they are just like a gross situation in my house. So I'm gonna take these outside, clean them up with a wire brush. I don't really wanna change the finish because I really like the patina on this, but I don't want these to continue to rust or flake. So I'm gonna get off anything that's there, clean these really well, and then clear coat them so that we can try to lock in the finish that they have now. "17. More detail, less stuff. Curated architectural interest and standout pieces will take you a lot further than just piling in more and more. But also stuff. Stuff is a fascinating way to mark the time. You will remember the day you found every single one of those pieces, who you were with, how that find sparked your imagination. Don't get weighed down with stuff. Sometimes it needs to move on, but don't underestimate the magic of surrounding yourself with physical memories. 18. I know you hate making mistakes, but you will make mistakes. Occasionally you will get it right the first time and you will feel invincible and like a design boss bitch babe. Other times you will choose form over function, lean too hard into the latest trend, compromise where commitment would have worked better, double down where compromise would have worked better. Hold your opinion back to keep the peace even when you know you're right. Push your opinion so hard that it's hurtful. Collect too much because you're afraid you won't have the right thing when you need it. Pass up an amazing find because you're afraid you have too much stuff. No amount of trying to not make mistakes will keep you from making mistakes. It will just make you tired and stressed. Number 19. Trust fate to work things out. Sometimes you will let the perfect find go or let the window for the perfect solution pass. Take that as a sign that a better solution is coming. There will always be another find, another way, another chance to get it right. 20. No matter what space you're working on, there will always be this magical moment when it transforms from raw materials and half-finished projects into a room. A real room. Not always at the end, but somewhere in the middle, the pieces become a whole, like it was always meant to be that way. It feels surreal because it becomes bigger than you, but don't forget, you believed it was possible. Chapter 4. On the deep shit. Lesson 21. Staying busy, being busy, thinking about being busy is a very clever place to hide. But you can't hide there forever because burnout is a thing, so eventually you will have to make peace in the absence of busy. And that's still the hardest thing ever. 22. It will never be done. Everyone loves to ask when it will be done, everyone loves to see a finished product, but there will always be more work, whether it's creativity, perfectionism, wear and tear, or straight up decay that's driving the next project. So gritting your teeth and powering through and working nonstop until it's done means you're gonna be gritting your teeth and powering through and working nonstop always. Learn to live in the work. The work is the part that leaves the deepest grooves and that creates the most memories. The work itself doesn't bring in millions of views or draw attention. The work is quiet and steady if you let it be. You need that more than you know. Number 23. Having creative vision means seeing all the possibilities. And seeing all the possibilities can so easily turn into living in your head, living in what could have been, living in the life you expected, living in the future. You are building a beautiful house and a beautiful life. Live here. Please live here. Number 24. Time will pass faster than you ever thought possible. If you told me at the beginning I wouldn't get around to this project for 5 years, I would die a little having to wait that long. But there goes another week, another month. Okay, 5 years. Do it now if you can, but the waiting won't kill you. You'll actually wish it would go by more slowly in the end. Lesson number 25. Your house will tell you what it wants if you listen hard enough. It might speak through people you love, design gurus you hate, expensive shit on Pinterest, unwanted crap in the dumpster, comments on YouTube. Your house is getting to know you in the same way you're getting to know it. It won't like when you accidentally light a fire inside the wall when using a heat gun, but you won't like the water pouring down the wall in the middle of the night from the leaky skylights either. So we'll call it shared trauma, I guess. And shared joy, too. Your house is the story of you, and like you, it is impermanent. Someone will move in someday and paint the built-ins you built with your parents in a horrifying saturated color, and it will look terrible, but maybe they will love it, and your house will be happy the same way it was when the murky, perfect color you chose made you happy. You and your house are writing this story together. Let go and listen. Alright everybody, thank you so much for hanging with me in this process. It's a different kind of video for me, but I don't know, I found it very cathartic to be writing this and scripting this and sharing it with you, so I hope this was helpful. Stay tuned for upcoming projects on the channel. Very soon we are going to be removing the rest of the paneling on this wall, putting in the windows. I didn't want to remove the diagonals because that's providing so much support for this wall, and this is an exterior wall, so we're going to need a little bit more support up there, which is why I'm having a contractor come in to help me out with that, but that's going to be coming very soon on the channel. I also have a massive thrift haul video coming up. We're doing a living room refresh. So many fun projects to come. So if you're not already subscribed, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you guys soon. Bye.